What you doing?
Howdy folks. Welcome to the back veranda at Littlejohns. Saturday, beautiful, absolutely cracker of a day. Home on my own. Got the smoker going over in distance, got some beef shorties on. Got the pool all clean and ready to go for a swim. It's going to be 34 degrees today. I think it's sitting about 28, 29 already. It's just sneaking up on lunch. And I'm about to do something I don't do very often. A pre-lunch beer. But hey, sometimes you got to do it. But what I'm testing today is the Biggie Juice. The Biggie Juice clone. This is the recipe that came from, I think this was Stewart Allan. I'll put a link up to the brew day, and I'll also put a link down the bottom to the original recipe, and I'll also put on, no, I'll just leave the original recipe, the brew day, and I'm going to talk about changes, and today's going to talk about some changes. I basically went with the standard recipe for this fella, and I changed it a little bit, and I did change this a little bit, but not a lot, and that was based around tastings from beer that Clint McCauley sent me, where he made this same recipe, and that's what's led me to doing this. And minor changes, so you can have a look what they are, but basically I just moved some of the bittering hops into the actual mash, just moved them around a little bit. Still the same hops, but just a little bit different. And the second one, I used more citra than the original recipe. I replaced some of the Vic Secret in the dry hop with citra, and I also changed some of the Amarillo to citra as well, just to see where that went. And I'm not a massive fan of Mosaic, and I haven't been super impressed with Vic Secret in beers, so and after tasting Clint's, and you can go back and have a look at that on the the pre-Biggie Juice day, where I went through and had a look at it, and I made some changes based on that. But anyway, here we are. This is the two beers. Now, I'm hoping the lighting's all right under here. We're on the wrong side. The sunshine's on the other side of the house, so it's a little bit darker under here. But these are the brews. Now, like I said, this is the original, brewed, in my case, with White Lab's Best Coast Hazy, which is a relatively new yeast. I reckon it's the Duck's Nuts for brewing hazy pales and IPAs. The original recipe, I think, uses London Fog. This fella uses Verdant. Now, the Verdant one is a deeper orange colour. It's got probably a touch more haze. Okay, there's a little more nose on this one, but they're both very, very fruity, very punchy, very tropical crush sort of a note. Fucking hell, bloody laptop's going off its fucking head. Bloody, but anyway, we're not here to, as they say, not here to fuck spiders. Yeah, so as I said, this is as per the recipe. So just a quick rundown. So this is 3 weeks old, dry hopped Amarillo, Galaxy and Victoria Secret. I could say Victoria Secret. Vic Secret. I just see the Vic and it's like VB and stuff, you just automatically think Victoria. Vic Secret on day 2, then Galaxy and Amarillo on day 6. Now, we do have to bear in mind that I stuffed up the hopping, the dry hopping on this, forgetting I'd split the batch, and I actually dry hopped each half with the full amount of hops instead of the half amount. So that's sort of like a double. But anyway. So I said the nose is lovely nose. Now I haven't got a Biggie to compare to. I'm pretty sure the local IGA quite often has Biggie, but I'm pretty sure I was down there last week. I didn't see any. I can't say for sure, but I've got a funny feeling they've pushed Biggie out to replace it with bloody a whole bunch of, yeah, fucking overrated, under fucking quality Capital Brewing beer. But anyway, so I haven't got a official taster to compare it to. But yeah, the nose is nice fruit on the nose. Okay, this is quite grassy, original, and there's probably still a little bit there. Brew is 22 days since bottling. No, I say sort of 3 weeks is the minimum time you need to let, you know, a good hoppy beer sit before you get into it. Give it time to let that grassiness sort of fade out, and it's not massive, but like I said, it's a fairly big dry hop. We've got 4 drops of 42 grams and a drop of 20, so it's 88, 108 gram dry hop in what was an 11 litre brew. So it works out about 10 gram a litre. So yeah, it's not massive as far as, like, you know, double IPAs and stuff go, but it's still a significant hop. But it's drinking nice. Plenty of fruit. It's very mixed up. It's not standouts. It's almost like a Biggie Juice kind of thing. There's touches of orange and a little bit of mandarin. There's some mango, a bit of pineapple. There's nice sweet malt. It's a lovely body. Carbonation's lovely. This was bottled at 15 psi straight off the pressure fermenter. Nothing added to it. The bottles were they weren't hard. They were a little soft, and that's what you get when you're not adding any extra priming sugar to the bottle. I possibly could have gone a little harder, but I think for me that carbonation level is quite nice. It's working well. It's enough that it's got some soft little pillowy note, but not enough that it's carbonic in any way, and not light enough that it's not lifting the beer up. So pretty happy with that. Let's get in this fella now. Okay, it's got a more significant nose. A bit more mango / orange and a hint of lime, just extra over the original batch. And as I said, I dropped you have to check the exact recipe. I haven't got it written here, and yeah, the laptop's actually decided. Why is that fucking? This glass table's not. Doesn't want to pick up the pointer. Oh, here we go. On the mouse, but we got it. Okay, so the citra replaced the Vic Secret on the day 2 dry hop and replaced the Amarillo on day 6. So there's a fairly substantial extra hit of citra in this one, and also used the Verdant IPA yeast. Now, they both fermented fairly steadily the same. There wasn't a real lot of difference, which was interesting because I sort of expected the Verdant to go charging off ahead, but it didn't. It didn't really make didn't make much difference. Both yeasts went reasonably hard on the ferment. Original gravity was, come on, don't bloody rework your bloody thing. Christ. I really should have brought my mouth fucking that out. Original gravity was 1057. 1028 on 2 days later, so it dropped nearly 30 points in 2 days, and that's this fella, because I've only measured this. I didn't measure particularly the Verdant, but they look fairly similar. But anyway, so as I said, this is bolder on the nose, it's a bit deeper in the colour. Oh, that's nice. Now, and I noticed this, when I bottled, and when I did a little bit of a sample after a week. This is not as grassy. It's less grass than this, and that's been right through. The hop has been not as aggressive, and it's showing here as, again, the hop in this it's smoothed out now, and it's actually doing its flavour thing, where there's still that hint of hoppy, that hoppiness. Yeah, you know what I mean. That taste of hops, taste of the flavour of the hops. They're two different things. We've discussed it many times before. But yeah, that's. Alright, there's more, same as this nose, there's more mango there, there's a bit more, there's more orange, and that's it's rounded and soft. I think this one's going to get there. I think realistically probably only needs another week, and that grass is going to drop. But I'm really happy that that extra hopping hasn't just taken it into a crazy place, and I really didn't think it was going to. This beer is still sitting around, I think, 5.8% ABV, so it's got enough sitting under there to support the hops, that extra hop. It's a shame that it hasn't actually been done the right way, because it doesn't, I can't assess the recipe completely properly, but like I said, that the beer that Clint sent me, in that previous video, it was very enjoyable. Well, that's a nice beer. They both are, and that extra hop is not coming through as being too much. It's just part of this beer. Obviously, had they been in half, it would have been a lighter hop impact. I think you're still going to get two very nice beers. But yeah, I'm really happy how this has come out. It's a good recipe. Does it particularly do a clone of Biggie Juice? I said I can't say. My memory of Biggie Juice is that this is possibly going again off Clint's, and Clint admitted that he didn't have the greatest brew day, potential ferment on that brew. But it gets very close. I think, for me, there was something in that brew of Clint's that didn't quite work. And it doesn't seem to be having the same effect here. So it may have been a ferment issue. So I wasn't a bit concerned about the impact of the Vic Secret. And I still think, as this is warming a little bit, there's a little something sitting there. And again, I think it's that Vic Secret, and it was a flavour, and it was, a bit of a flavour that was there in Clint's brew. And it's not in that. It is not there. So it's definitely got to be. Well, fuck, I suppose you could say it's the Amarillo, but the day 2 Amarillo's there. Now the only hop that isn't there is the Vic Secret. And like I said, I've had beers before with the Vic Secret where I didn't like the finish. Yeah, and it's there. As it's warming and it's becoming a bit more noticeable. I mean, and this isn't particularly warm. It's still cold, but just as it's just had a chance to open up. And these weren't super cold. These come out of out of the kegerator, which sits at 4 degrees, so they're not super cold. And been sitting here now for what, I suppose probably 20 minutes. So they can't be too hot, but that flavour, just as that beer's sitting a little bit, is coming on. And that's why I was looking at doing this, because I really thought that's not a taste I get in Biggie. That's in that. That's not here. I personally, nothing against this recipe, because this is, plenty of people are going to like it, but for me, I think that is closer to where the Biggie Juice sits. I don't know. Don't know where Stewart's got his recipe information from. I've looked. I couldn't readily find any information on the hops that are in the Biggie Juice. So whether he's found it from somewhere, I don't know. I know he. But I've chatted with him online, and he's talked about a lot of people finding it was very close. And again, without having the actual Biggie Juice to sit down and compare it to, I can't make a full assertion. And again, with the double hopping, I can't. But I can say that right now, that is a cleaner beer. That is a nicer, cleaner beer. Doesn't have that slightly weird flavour that's in that. So that's where we sit. The original recipe, I think, the colour, the lightness is probably close, and again, by memory, I think the Biggie Juice was probably a little bit lighter than that. I think this is possibly a shade or two deeper in colour than the actual Biggie Juice. I do sort of recall it being reasonably lightish. Bit more yellowy than orange, but again, don't take that as gospel. Now listen, I think bringing those hops down by half where they should have been, and that's going to settle that little flavour a little bit more too. It won't be as... But that's a really nice beer. That's a really nice beer. they're quite similar while still being reasonably different as well. Sort of shows how much difference yeast particularly can make, because I think the yeast is having a big impact there. I've used the Verdant in the past and wasn't happy with it, and I've been hesitant to use it again. I used it here because I had it here, and it's become quite popular, so I'll give it a whirl. It's half a batch. I've got no issues with it in this beer. So obviously that original beer with the Verdant, there was something other than the yeast that was causing an issue. But yeah, so Biggie Juice, double Biggie Juice. It's not quite double. I know you can get the Imperial Biggie, and again, I'd like to have a can of that to see how this compares, exactly how far they've gone. But I'm pretty sure that the Imperial is going to be a lot stronger ABV, my memory. Well, actually, I don't even know if you can still get the Imperial Biggie. It may have been bloody just a short term. But for now, yeah, as by the recipes, which between the recipes down the bottom and Brew Day and pieces, those bits and pieces, you get to these two beers, both very nice. Stewart, I've got to give a thumbs up to the recipe. I said, regardless of my little issue with the Vic Secret, that's still a bloody good brew. Yeah, as you can see, they kept their haze really well. So folks, there you have it. Take from it what you will. As always, comments, questions down the bottom. There'll be also links in the description for Patreon. If you're interested in Patreon, jump on, have a look. It helps keep the channel going, allows me to play around with all these sort of experiments. If you're currently a Patreon, thumbs up. Thank you guys for your support. If you're a subscriber to the channel, thank you as well. If you aren't, hit the subscribe button down there. That way you're gonna get notified. You're gonna know when new bloody recipes, when new videos are dropping. And if you like what's going on, give me a thumbs up. All keeps the channel moving forward. Anyway, guys, that's me. I'm going to continue on. I've got to go and check on me bloody how many beef shorties are going. I'm cooking for lunch. I'm not far off that bloody pool. But for now, as we're sliding into the depths of autumn here in Australia, I'm taking advantage of what could possibly be our last sniff of summer for this year. Well, this side of winter anyway. So guys, thank you for joining me for a beer. Cheers. And until I see you again on the next video, we were brewing beer, drinking beer, talking beer. Good brewing.